Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-464-1806. Mark, 4 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Mark, 3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-464-1806. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Stations, we're coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, mark. 1 minute stations, 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds, stations. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Rice Sports Network. On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Palace Social. Welcome to the José Cruz Jr. Show. The José Cruz Jr. Show is brought to you by IBEW Local Union 716 and by Palace Social, one of Houston's premier entertainment and event destinations, offering high-end food and cocktails, bowling, virtual reality, arcade, and so much more. Now, to lead things off, along with the coach, here's the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes, I can say confidently we made it back. We almost didn't make it there, but we made it back from Charlotte. We have Bixby family head baseball coach José Cruz Jr. of our Rice House coming up in seconds. We're glad to be at Palace Social. Half off burgers on Thursdays, half off arcade on Tuesdays. Table's wobbling here, boss. Palace Social, very family-friendly restaurant, entertainment, event venue, a short drive from Rice. They got bowling lanes, high-end food, craft cocktails, virtual reality, much more. PalaceSocial.com to book your event, 713-913-4955. And I can say for a fact, the meatloaf, outstanding. Great meatloaf, great grub. Bar scene here. They've got the bowling alleys. Good. I just told you all that in the read, but it is a fantastic setup. 4191 Bel Air Boulevard for an old Bel Air guy ourselves. It is the one and only José Cruz Jr. How we doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Yeah. Outstanding. Like we were just talking about right before we signed on, the crowd's growing bigger and bigger for you. Coming on out here, huh?
I can't wait to see it keep growing.
Yeah, keep coming. So 2-2 week. I want to start kind of from the back, as that was a very entertaining one on Sunday. I was telling a couple people beforehand, that's about as fun. I don't know if that's how you would describe it, but in the broadcast booth, that was as much juice as there's been in a game in a long, long time. How big was it to get that Sunday one after what happened in the doubleheader on Friday, and then the crazy travel experiences mixed in there? So take it out as you will.
All right. So first, the Lamar game. It was just like a wacky game. I think it was one of our coaches, Aspo, was like, this is about as midweek as you can get when it comes to a college baseball. So we had 18 or 19 pitchers or something like that. It was something ridiculous. I think we had 9 of them. So a lot of guys got a chance to throw. And they're good. They're a really good team. I mean, they're at 30-something wins. I think that at that point in time, they'd only lost 2 games at home. So it seemed to me like they were fairly confident that they were going to stomp us. But we were ready for it. We had a good approach against their starter or opener, or whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, we ended up getting a pretty commanding lead early. And they were playing catch up, and we were able to do some matchups there with them that worked out in our favor. And we just kind of kept putting on the runs and keep having really good at-bats. It was nice to see Kite McDonald get on the field and play pretty much a whole game. It was DH, but it was nice to see him out there swinging the bat. Got a big RBI right away. And then ultimately came in and our bullpen ended up shutting the door. I want to say it was Davion who closed it out. I think Tom threw right before him. Mm-hmm. And it was just really, really cool to see the guys come together and just keep fighting, and that carried over. It's been a theme here, I think, for the last about 3-4 weeks for us. So hopefully it continues. So then we got this weekend. So we had the eternal Thursday. It was the longest day I've had in travel here as a Rice Owl. We got to the airport before 8 a.m. and next thing you know, we didn't leave until like 3 or 4. It was crazy. And then we got to the Charlotte airport. That was chaos. One of the guys lost their luggage, which, with all being said and done, there was only one piece of luggage lost. It's pretty good with all the chaos going on. So that was, everything was delayed. It was just, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're going to play a doubleheader tomorrow. I was trying to back it up as much as possible. So I think we started at 2 p.m. So that game was took a few innings to get going. Started off a little bit slow at the beginning, and then we started to chip away, started to score a bunch of runs. It was some calls that did not go our way that not really happy about, but it was a well fought game. We're really close to winning that game, and then I think ultimately in game 2 we ran out of gas. It was difficult. I think we had an inning where we had the bases loaded. We scored a couple of runs, and then I think Kite McDonald hit a bullet down the line. Their third baseman made a great play. I don't know what he was doing playing there, but they must have known something. But he made a great play, ended our rally, and then they started chipping at us, and all of a sudden, the game was out of hand. They had a guy that pitched really well against us. I'd say probably mid-90s, and the real sharp kind of cutting slider thing he was throwing. So hitting became pretty difficult from there. But Saturday we couldn't play because of the weather. Then we came back Sunday, and I was really proud of how the guys responded on Sunday. They all went at it very pro-like. Really, it was pretty exciting for me to watch. We were down 4 runs, and we just kept coming back. All of a sudden, Becker ends up getting a big hit, big homer with 3-run homer, put it by 1. Things started to get a little chippy from there on out. I want to say they brought in a guy that pitched really well against us on Friday, and Rank hit a big 2-strike homer, really, and we took the lead. Next thing you know, we got a couple guys on. Davini gets a hit. Rydell hits a homer. Davion came in and pitched the best that I've ever seen him pitch. And then Tom Benza came in and wanted the ball, and he closed the game out. We were only wanting him to throw 1 inning, and next thing you know, he's over there throwing a couple innings. So I'm really excited with those guys' improvements. And it was, for me, it was one of our best games, if not our best game of the year. So I'm pretty excited about that.
In that Sunday game, the last time Rice had struck out at least 17 in a game, in a 9-inning game, was against DBU 7 years ago. So obviously things clicking with both Tom and Davion. Mm-hmm. And Tucker just had some bad luck with that start. There was a tough luck error, little turf monster action, but then once Davion came in there, that changed the complexion.
It for sure did. We were talking about it in the dugout, and Coach Bangs was like, "Yeah, you just got to get Davion hot. We got to get him in and just at least hold the game, give ourselves a chance." And sure enough, that's exactly what he did. He held him, and we just kept chipping away. And all of a sudden, we took the lead, and we just never looked back and just kept throwing it. And both him and Davion and Tom Vincent have been humongous for us in the bullpen. Kind of either Vincent to Davion or Davion to Vincent, however it plays out, but. They've been definitely cemented themselves as our top guys out of the pen. So let's keep riding that and keep seeing them be successful.
How big for Rank to, I think it was an 0-for-17 stretch he broke with that single. Then he gets the homer the next one. Do you see how the offense really follows his lead? I know it's not always just one guy, but it seems like he's a huge spark and a catalyst. When y'all are playing well, it's usually Rank is leading the charge.
Somewhere in the middle. Yeah, no, for sure. He's going to have a lot of guys that are going to be on base when he hits. So a lot of his at bats are always crucial. I mean, and then you follow him up with Jack Rydell, and then you follow him up with Pierce Gallo. So usually there's somewhere in there is the game is decided. If the bottom of the lineup can flip the lineup over, and all of a sudden we can get to Rank. I felt good about that inning, and I don't know if I commented to somebody, but I was like, man, we got to figure out a way to let Rank hit this inning. Their pitcher, which was crazy, he threw like 60 pitches 2 days before. So we were talking about it before the game and thinking that the Friday guys, the first guys that threw, their best guys, which was Rossi was one of them, which was a big righty who also was like upper 90s, and then the lefty who throws like 80% sliders. It just happens that his slider's like 3,000 RPM slider, so it's got a nice bite and it sweeps. So I could tell right away that he was lumbering a little bit, especially the first inning, and we were like, okay, we want this guy in right now because he's not his normal self. He's there. I can't believe he's in the game really. And then next thing you know, I remember who got on. Somebody got on, and Rank came in and had a 2-strike, real good at bat, hit it out straight center. And then from there on out, I think that just kind of got us eased our burden in a way, and the offense just started clicking. And then all of a sudden they bring the other big guy to come in, and we were able to get a couple of really big hits against him. So it was exciting to watch our guys claw back and fight and hit good pitching and win a game.
We talked about Davion, the good pitching. We'll talk more with him when he comes up, by the way. Bad host, I didn't tell you that. Jack Rydell, Davion Hickson coming up in a little bit, but center in on Tom Vincent, what the strides he's made. I don't think I've asked you in this setting a lot about him, and he had a good week. What's he turning into, because he seems to be very reliable. I don't say a long guy or a short guy, just he can fill some roles there in the pin for you.
So Tom's definitely turned a corner. This year, this is his third year here. So this year has been the time where he's wanted the ball the most, like all the time. He wants the ball. He wants to compete. He's doing everything possible to make himself available to compete. So, and he's throwing the hardest consistently that I've seen him as well. So it's definitely the right time. I think I was laughing because it's like if their hitters are looking at the percentages of what Tom's throwing, and all of a sudden they faced him last time, they were like, well, these percentages are all wrong because he was mainly fastballs. But there he ended up landing 3 pitches. He had basically a 20-mile-an-hour difference between the fastball and the curveball, which he was about 93 with the fastball and about 75 with the curveball. And he was throwing 80-something with the changeup, landing all 3 of them, creating chaos for them because they're like what he was giving them is not what they were expecting. And it was with a really good velocity. I think Davion did the same thing. He was landing 3 pitches, and normally he's been just throwing 2 pitches. So they're all of a sudden he's landing a changeup, and they're like, where did this come from? So it was definitely something great to see for those guys to be able to keep improving and evolving as the year goes on, which is exactly what we need because this is a time to get hot and make a statement.
More with Coach Cruz coming up in just a bit. Stay tuned with us. That is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live at Palace Social from Learfield.
Whether running a marathon or walking your dog, every movement matters. But when you're in pain, simple activities can feel unbearable. At Houston Methodist Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, our specialists can help you heal faster using the latest technology, minimally invasive procedures, and advanced physical therapy. As the top-ranked hospital in Texas, we have the expertise to keep you moving and help you get back to doing the things you love. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment. 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling, the official beer partner of Rice Athletics, and now available for purchase everywhere in Texas. The Yingling Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Please enjoy responsibly.
Owl fans need a lift? Look no further than Avalon Bus Services. Servicing the entire nation, Avalon Bus Services can take any group size, any distance, and is ready to service you Owl fans. Servicing your Owls since 2016, it is a no-brainer why the Owls choose Avalon for their transportation needs. With 10 different locations as well as nationwide services, it is easier than ever to book with Avalon Bus Services. To book a ride for your next Owls game, whether on the road or here at Rice Stadium, visit avalonbus.com. Avalon Bus, proud sponsor of Rice Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes, we're back. We're here at Palace Social, 4191 Bel Air Boulevard. We're on the Owls Facebook and YouTube pages, and X too. You can't leave out X. Hi, social media. And then we are also on the Owls Game Day app, riceowls.com, and the Varsity Network app on this thing here. You can get the whole world at your fingertips, including some Rice Owls. Stay tuned in just a bit. We have Jack Rydell and Davion Hickson coming up next. Wanted to ask you about being a Rice graduate, which of course you are, and we had so many of the guys that were not able to take part in commencement ceremonies, but just how much that means. And there's a cool connection there because not everybody that is the head coach of such a prestigious program also went through that. What's that mean to you?
I mean, it's a finish line of sorts for the guys. It's quite the accomplishment to be able to get a Rice degree. A lot of work has to be put in order to accomplish that. Fortunately, our president, Reggie DeRoche, loves the part, loves this whole thing. So since last year, we started to incorporate, in case we couldn't make the graduation, him being able to come to the field and hand out diplomas before the game. So he's going to be able to do that again. So the guys that are graduating, that missed graduation, will be able to get the president give them a diploma on their last or one of the last games that we'll play or they'll play at Rice. So that's pretty exciting. I'm excited for that. We have a handful of those guys on the team. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's very ceremonious. I think you should definitely be applauded to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah. Since we got Davion here in a couple segments, I want to ask specifically about him. And I saw a note. He had the 10 strikeouts in relief. Chuck got it. That most since our guy Matt Dittman had 10 strikeouts 10 years ago on Valentine's Day. He got the save of Jordan Stevens. So it's been a while since something like that happened with Davion. Backing up what you said, one of the best performances. Where have you seen him? You knew coming into the year he'd be great, but what is it like now seeing that some of that come to fruition?
No, for sure. It's. I think there's still more in the tank, which is kind of fascinating to even consider. But no, he works real hard at it. He's definitely a guy that wants to be a master at his craft. He takes every piece of advice that you give him to heart, and he gets after it, and he goes out there hard. I mean, you can't get mad at someone that goes at it like that. So you'll take anything that happens as long as he keeps that attitude going.
Mm-hmm. And if Jack Rydell coming up in a little bit too, speak to him being one of those, not only the grads, but kind of in a new role, really stepping up and excelling at that role here, being top couple, 3 guys in the league in homers.
No, for sure. He's definitely one of the guys that has a higher or better idea of what he has to do to be successful, especially on the offensive side, and takes great pride in that. I think this year has been a little bit different for him because, he took the whole conference by storm, and all of a sudden was leading the whole conference in homers, and so he became. I think he was attacked and targeted a little bit more than he's been used to the point where it's like they'd rather trick him and hope to strike him out, and really don't care about the walk. So that's been an adjustment, I think, that he's been making it. I think in the last couple of weeks, he's also getting targeted, and like any lefty they have in the bullpen is coming in to face Jack. So I have to keep that in mind as well when I set up a lineup to be able to protect him in the lineup, and that's why Rank's in front, and I'll usually have Gallo behind him. So, I mean, if they're going to bring in the lefty, they're going to have a couple guys that hit lefties fairly well surrounding Jack. So those are things that come into consideration to protect him. But he takes great pride in what he does, both offensive and defensive. If you see him not do something well on the defensive side, you usually end up talking to DC, and they're out early doing their thing. So, which I appreciate. So it's like really happy to have them. Both those guys really. And because of those types of attitudes, I think it's contagious, and a big reason why we're doing so well right now.
Going to College Station, going to Aggie Land tomorrow to take on the number 2 team in the nation. Before I ask you about Coach Schlossnagel's team, what is an Aggie memory or two that you have in the thick of the Southwest Conference days back then?
I remember the first series we had against Texas A&M. There was a guy named Jeff Granger was a starter. He was also the quarterback on the football team. He was like all world, the greatest athlete alive at the time. And he was like a left-handed pitcher that threw probably low to mid 90s. And he had like a really wicked slider. I'd never seen anything like it at that point in time. It was crazy. A&M is basically what it is right now, fan-wise. It was just bananas that day. I didn't know what to make of it. The guy seemed unhittable. He was throwing so hard. It was just like we definitely got work that day. On top of that, they had 2 other guys that went in the first round, and another bullpen guy I think went in the second round. They were all pitchers, and the starters were all left-handed. So it was definitely tough, right? It was difficult to face those guys, but it's like you ended up being like, okay, I have to step up my game. I have practice better or whatever it was to be able to compete against them. So I think we might have won 1 game that series. And then from there on out, it was on. Like I think we did really, really well against them for a while, where we were as good or better, like all the time. We went back to A&M 2 years later and definitely put it to them. So it was definitely, I think, life-changing for me in many ways, just being able to face a guy like that and seeing that and understanding that that's out there. And so I had to be just that much better in order to be able to compete.
How about this year's squad? You look at 109 homers, and they've got Laviolette, the talented sophomore Montgomery, each 23 homers or more. So they have a little bit of pop in there.
Yeah, quite a bit of pop. I was scrolling through some of their stats. I mean, they're not one of the top teams in the nation for nothing. I'm sure that we've seen them already the last couple of years. We saw them 3 times last year. A little bit different on the offensive side, but the pitching I think will be very similar, and they're going to have good arms with good velocity, and they're going to try and bully you with what they have. And so in a way, when they try to do that, that means there's going to be some moments where they're going to challenge you with the fastball. And those are the moments that we're going to have to, put a good swing on it. The ball carries fairly well there. So we last time we played them in College Station, I would say last year, we were tied in the 9th. So it was pretty close. So we played them better each time we played them last year. Able to return that favor this weekend. We're hitting on all cylinders. Everybody's going to be ready to go. So I really like our chances this weekend.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Dixie Family Baseball Coach for Rice Out. Jose Cruz Jr. Coming up next, Jack Rydell, the high table. This is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live from Learfield.
Way to go, JP.
It's really nerve-wracking. Jack can't get rattled. Wednesday before the soon.
Senior day is soon,
Okay.
but the graduation.
That's right. Okay. Do you know who else is graduating? Because I wrote it down.
I don't know. I don't know everybody for sure.
I'll throw you that fast. I'll just say it's like 7. You brought the crowd in.
Yeah,
Is that with your parents?
those are some family friends.
Okay. Yeah, you probably don't care, but they might. But, it's on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
Grandma, grandpa, cousins, aunts, uncles, estranged cousins. What was your degree?
Finance.
Okay, that's right. Good guys. Thank you.
Live at Palace Social, this is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Now,
All right, JP.
let's rejoin the voice of the Owls.
And you're on.
Yes, we are back here at Palace Social. Stay tuned in just a smidge. We will have the one and the only fireballer, Davion Hickson, joining us. And joined now by not Jack Riddle, but Jack Rydell.
That's right.
Must have been a little check. Sorry about that. I should have noticed that during the break. Yeah, Jack brought out the all the crowd. Did you notice that? I finally went over, by the way. I didn't tell you this part of it. They butchered your name the whole time, and I sent a message over. Put some respect to his name. Say my guy's name right, Rydell.
Thank you.
I noticed the guys got a kick out of that
I
too.
appreciate that.
But it doesn't bother you, does it?
No, not at all. It gets messed up all the time, so
Really?
I'm pretty used to it. Yeah.
Okay. It surprised me a bit. What has this season been like adjusting to, like some coach said something, I'd like to hear your perspective. It's a new role and you've really flourished in that role. I know it's not easy to kind of build into that. So what's that all been like for you?
I mean, it hasn't been too difficult. It helps with the new guys we brought in this year, guys like Davion, Trayton, Kite. It's a lot easier to go out and do your thing when everybody else does the same thing, and so I wouldn't say that I felt too much pressure, going to play shortstop because I knew that there was, 7 other guys in the field that are going to go out there and do the same thing, and they're going to do it to the best of their ability. So.
But you played shortstop a lot growing up. That was the primary position.
Right. I played shortstop my whole life up until my freshman year at UNC. I think that was the last time I played shortstop in a actual baseball game. But yeah.
And being power hitter now, not that you didn't hit homers before, but that's taken a big uptick. And I know a lot goes into that, but what has that metamorphosis been like? Is it about growing up, new approach, obviously some techniques mixed in there too?
I've been working a lot with DC in the cages. He's one of the best hitting coaches I worked with. He just kind of teaches me everything about the load, not so much about the swing, because he thinks that the way I do my hand and the way I go to the ball is going to elevate the ball for myself. I don't really need to focus on that, but working with DC has definitely helped me kind of tap into that more powerful swing.
Where did the Sunday homer rank on the Rydell meter as far as favorite ones? Because not only the distance, but the magnitude when it came and the chippiness of the game was such, like, man, that was one of my favorites to call. So how was that? Did that rank up high?
It was pretty high for sure. Definitely with the magnitude of that game. That was kind of like the cherry on top for me. But yeah, it was a very, very special moment for me.
What's been the difference the last few weeks? We've seen the evolution, but really that first week or so in April, you guys have really kind of kicked it into another gear. What's been the big difference?
I think it's honestly, getting together in the locker room, having a lot of fun, with your teammates. I don't know if you noticed, but we all changed our walkout songs. 2000s pop music.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me at least, like that just shows how bought in we all are to this whole thing. And when the songs come on, everybody starts laughing, and it kind of takes the nervousness out of the game for some of the younger guys, and they're like, what, it's not so much of a big deal. This is just baseball. Kind of brings them back to, how they were as a kid playing baseball growing up, because obviously everybody's good at playing baseball if they're here at Rice playing baseball. So, they kind of stop thinking too much and they start just going out there and playing the game that they always knew how to play.
You can't give your own, but what's your favorite new walk-up song of the guys? Because I like Trayton's Little Fergalicious. I always get a giggle when his comes. I think that's his, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think I like Hideaway or Jacob Devaney's walk-up song. Every time that song comes on, we're always dancing in the locker room to it. We actually play it on the bus all the time. So it's a good time.
An old fogey like me has learned that song now. So yeah, y'all play that. But going away from Phil Collins, that must have been tough for you, because that was kind of your staple. That was your thing.
Yeah, it was actually more tough for my parents. They loved when I had that walk-up song. So sorry mom and dad, but I had to do it.
Part of the Memorial Mafia we talked about a lot, and we've had Ben Dukes. By the way, I gave Ben the hall pass today. He came up to me at the airport, said he's got to go to College Station. It's sister's birthday. So you don't have another Memorial guy here. He's been our enforcer here. He's been our staple out in the audience. But you have an earliest memory playing with Ben, because when he was here, he was talking about early days playing with all you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it goes way back, me and Ben playing together. But I mean, the most memorable moments I have with Ben on the baseball side would be driving up to Franklin, Texas, when we just gotten our license. And we would just drive up together, go play a tournament, turn right back around, drive back. I mean, it was a 2.5-hour drive, but those drives were definitely the most memorable. It was just me and him in the car, listening to music, just having a good time.
Yeah. How cool has it been for you, to being so close with him for so long, to see his transformation into this year? Because after a while, you're like, man, who is this guy? He is just been a different beast there.
Right. I like to say that Ben's always been like that. He's always been a really good hitter. He's always been super athletic. He's been a great outfielder. He finally got some opportunities recently, and he's been able to show that. And it was no surprise to me what he's done, because he's always done that since I was a little kid playing with him. He's done that in high school, so it was great to see him actually get that opportunity and do it in college. Yeah.
You also have another big fan that comes to all the Sunday home games, Piper, the Red Lab. I don't know if you remember, we talked about this on last year, right, when she, was a pup. So tell us, you probably don't even think about it. It's just something I see every now and then, because I see her with your family on the Sunday games.
Yep.
Is she like some kind of love charm, so to speak?
I just love when she comes out to the games. I think one of my favorite moments was during one of the fall inter-squads this past fall. She was up on the hill in left field, and I hit a home run out there, and she went and got the ball. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, every time she comes to the game, my mom always brings her around to the first base, foul line, and I get to go say hi. She's always happy to see me, and it just kind of warms me up a little bit.
Yeah, good girl. We just heard during the break, I was reminded that you'll have your graduation ceremony before the Wednesday game against Lamar. We have a Rice finance major at the table, Mr. Jack Rydell. What's that mean to you? You come, Houston guy, you go to North Carolina, you come back, and little birdie told me you wanted to graduate 4 years, and you did it, making up some time. What's all that meant to you to get that diploma?
Yeah, it was special. One of the main reasons I actually decided to come to Rice after my freshman year was that they introduced a business school for undergrads. And so I think I'm actually the first class to graduate from the business school as an undergrad, which is pretty special. But yeah, I've been going through all the classes with my teammates. We're all super stoked and excited for what's to come in the future, where that degree is going to take us.
Hey, tell us about the home stretch. You have a few games in the regular season, hopefully a lot more after that. What's the, softball question, so to speak, what's the big key down the stretch that you have to keep doing or do more of?
I don't think we need to do more of anything, really. We should keep sticking to our plan and doing what we're good at. Pitchers are on a roll right now. Hitters are hitting. The more we get guys on base, the more we're going to score the runs. The more we keep guys off the base on the pitching side, the less runs they're going to score. So, I don't think we need to do anything extra. I don't think we need to take our foot off the gas either. I think we just need to keep doing our thing the way we're doing it.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Big 15, Jack Rydell of our Rice Station. Next, we'll go to the bullpen, and we've got Davion Dixon coming up next. It's the José Cruz Jr. Show live from Palace Social from Learfield.
I never even checked myself, but I guess you said it was. Okay. Okay. Am I gonna sit? Yeah, for sure. You have to get used to it, so it's tough. Get you on to get used to the interview. Am I gonna hear you through this? Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah, it's different. A little bigger than your. Well, just think of like beats or. What's up? Like, most people, I talk about athletes all the time. Like, man, I never heard myself talk like this. I just make sure I can hear you because I can't hear nothing else. It's cool technology. So some of them talk. And we do have. You have a lot of family that came to the game. This is on Facebook, YouTube. They can go back and watch. Grandma, grandpa.
To the José Cruz Jr. Show. Here again,
From the bullpen, give me 38 right here. Davion Dixon joining us. How are you doing? Appreciate you coming.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, thanks. Hearing what Jack said, some about you, and hearing him talk, obviously different positions. Discuss your thoughts on this season and what it's meant to you coming down this home stretch. He talked about that bond that you all have created here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we started really slow, and that happens obviously. But over the season we've all gotten really close, and everybody's kind of learned their role and learned not to do, like Jack was saying, like you don't have to do too much or do more, but just do your thing. I mean, that's all it comes down to. And the past few weeks we've been winning, and I think that's a large part because of how close we've grown.
What went into it on, I guess, yesterday? I was thinking that was a while back, but that was yesterday. You come out 5 shutout innings. You have a season-high 10 strikeouts. What was really clicking for you? That was quite a performance.
I'd say my fastball command. I'd say most of the outings where I've been really sharp is when my fastball is at its best. And the deal has always been there, but when you strike and throw it to both sides of the plate has been big.
Coming from Florida State, what stuck out about Rice? I'm sure you knew of the program, but what made you want to come here?
Parker Banks. I know a friend of Parker Banks, and he told me that Banks was the guy. So I just put my faith in them, and that's what made me come to Rice.
Yeah. We've seen the numbers, and like you talk about, you've gone deeper into games, but where do you think you've improved the most? Because you're obviously very hyped coming here, but where do you think you've made those strides?
Discipline, but also my competitiveness, and I owe that to Coach Cruz. He helped me out a lot this fall, just trying to be more competitive and making the hitter feel what it's like when I'm on the mound. And I think now hitters can feel that's not a comfortable at bat when I'm pitching, and it translates to my performance.
Talk about that Sunday game, just on a whole, how big it was to get that win at that time. Some chirping involved both ways. They get the 2 games, but you needed that win, and y'all got it. How big was that?
I mean, every game's big, so we've been trying to win every game we can. Obviously, Friday didn't go our way, and that was probably due to some unfortunate timing in the airport. But I think that just getting that win Friday meant a lot to keep our chances in the postseason.
Growing up in Palmetto, correct? I learned a little more, right?
No, I'm actually from Jacksonville.
From Jacksonville, okay. See, learning something. So, were you always reliever, starter, and reliever? A little bit of both, or
a little bit of both. Just a guy with opportunity.
Yeah. Who are your biggest baseball influences before coming to Rice growing up?
I don't know. I haven't got an answer for that one.
Really?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Or like, who would be a favorite player? I don't know if you grew up a fan of a particular team or a couple guys you try to pattern your style after.
I like the Yankees, but no pitcher I try to be like, I don't think.
Okay. You're just one of one. You're David.
Just try to be me.
Yeah. Discuss how it was so cool. One of the cooler moments this year, you're pitching at USF, did well, and you got that big cheering section. I saw a lot of them come to Charlotte as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
What's that been like to get all those? Yeah, so many people there at both times.
It's been good. Obviously, I moved out to Texas, so it's been hard for, especially my mom, to come out to the games, but times like that when they can all come, it's great.
Yeah. I heard you have the highest vertical on the team.
Yeah.
Is that close to accurate?
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Okay. Who would be a close second or maybe push you in that run? Who's got some hops too?
Gary Stratton.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard he played some basketball.
He's probably, I'd say he's probably more athletically gifted than I am.
Really?
I think.
Okay. Yeah. And did you play basketball growing up?
I did.
Any track?
I did play basketball.
Okay. Was baseball your favorite sport playing? I assume, but
yes.
Do you have any other sports that you like to?
I mean, basketball was fun, but I didn't like practicing basketball. So baseball it is.
A little too much cardio?
Nah, just too much shots, too much shooting.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it seems like you control things more on the mound. You got that ultimate control. Is that what you like about pitching the most?
Yeah, I mean, I could go make 50 throws and get better. So instead of taking 1,000 shots just to miss in the game.
At what age did you fully become a pitcher? Was that high school or
my junior year when I transferred to IMG? That was when I fully became a pitcher.
Okay. Did you not like hitting, or is it just you knew that was going to be what you wanted to do?
I just couldn't hit. So I had to figure it out.
Stereotypical pitcher, huh? They say.
Yeah. Fair.
What have you learned under Coach Cruz? Obviously, I know Coach Banks, the pitching coach, but I'm sure Coach Cruz had a lot to do with you coming here too. What have you learned under him?
Like I was saying earlier, just being competitive. I would honestly say that's probably the biggest part of my growth is I've learned to compete. Even the days I'm not feeling as great, I still think I try to make it uncomfortable at bat for the hitter.
Discuss the keys the rest of the way. You got so many big games coming up. Obviously, the big one tomorrow, but the big conference games. What are some big keys down the stretch as a team?
We just got to get back to what we've been doing. I thought Sunday we showed how we've been playing recently, and we can just continue to do that. I don't think anybody in the conference has much for us.
Hey, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming out. We want to know. He gets to say, count that in the book, he gets to say. Stay tuned coming up. I'll wrap up the show after this. It is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live here at Palace Social from Learfield. Did you get anything good there? Studio. I know. I definitely will use one of them because I have to have I'm not going to bother for a pregame interview.
I may see you tomorrow.
Okay. I'll be there.
Take care of yourself.
So just restart it.
Just told me it needs to. Didn't tell me that to do it.
Thanks.
Palace Social. This is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Now on
All right. Yeah.
We're back here wrapping it up. Remember the last show coming up next week here at Palace Social. So much appreciate Joanna and all our fine friends here at Palace Social. 41-91. Yes. Wow, dang it. They have been outstanding. They're great to deal with, and they're great folks. Come support them. 4191 Bel Air Boulevard. Family friendly, entertainment, event venues, short drive from Rice, bowling lanes, high-end food, some craft cocktails as well. They got the virtual reality, arcade, much, much more. They have the half-off burgers on Thursdays and half off for that nice arcade on Tuesdays. Don't forget Rice baseball this week. Going up College Station way to take on the Aggies. That's going to be a 6 o'clock start. It's on SEC Network. Plus, on the video, I'll have the audio on the Rice Owls Game Day app, Varsity Network app, riceowls.com. Home game against Lamar. That's at 6:30 coming up Wednesday. And as a reminder, I recognize the great Rice graduates on the team before the game. And this weekend, it's Mammoth. 6:30 Friday, 2 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday against the FAU Owls. It would take a while, but the race is such that so many teams are vying for those final Conference USA tournament spots. This series is big coming up. American Conference. Yeah, thank you. You heard it. You knew what I meant. It rolled off the tongue so many years, and thank you for correcting me. Yes, I do know we're in the American Conference, but that's coming up here this weekend against FAU. Mama's Day coming up on Sunday. We want you out there. And we will see Piper, the lab, and others in our park at the park. And the kiddos run around the bases like umpteen times. They'll be there as well on Sunday. Again, don't forget, A&M tomorrow, Lamar on Wednesday, and FAU this weekend. Remember everything we give thanks to Walter Engineering, Clara back at the studio. And you all give yourself another hand for coming out. Appreciate Dave Hickson for closing us down. And Jack Rydell did another long ball for us. And thanks to Bixby family and baseball coach Jose Cruz Jr. Last show next week. Come out and join us. This has been the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live at Palace Social from Learfield. Thank you, man. We did it.
Yeah, I will look for that. Have you updated the names? Sir? Can you see if Gabe updated the names? What's that? I might text him. Well, Morgan would update the games. She would put them. Cool beans. Thank you, man. Yeah, next week live show. Appreciate you.
Huh? I forgot that you wanted I asked him about it on the video yesterday. I meant to ask you again. And I asked him yesterday about coming in and shutting it down and then trading and getting a home run the way he did. And he said he's so quickly. He said, I think he's